Okay, so a question that a bunch of friends of mine ask me a lot, is like, why did you go see that movie? I say, oh, I've seen this, or oh, I've seen that. It's like, oh, you went and saw that? Why did you go see that? And there's a variety of reasons. For this film, my main reason for wanting to go see it is because it scratches a nostalgic itch that I really don't get from a lot of other films. When I was a lad, I just loved monsters. I was just totally obsessed with the idea of real monsters, not like a Dracula or a Frankenstein, but like ones that, there were sightings of. I read everything I could get my hands on about Bigfoot, the Abominable Snowman, the Loch Ness Monster. Loved it. When Unsolved Mysteries would do them, I'd be like glued to the TV. And of course, you grow up and you start to become a little bit more wise, and you start becoming a little bit more skeptical. When you're a kid, you're Fox Mulder. The older you get, the more you become Dana Scully. That's not a bad thing. It's not a knock on Scully. It's just life. But there's always been this fascination to me as well about the deepest levels of the ocean. That whole thing about, there's a huge portion of our Earth that is unexplored because it's so deep, and it's my weird thought process that I always think that's the place where there could still be monsters. That's the place we might actually still find a monster. And I love that idea. I love the idea of finding something down there. And not in like the sick way that like some of these assholes who actually want there to be a zombie apocalypse because they're, misanthropic and they just want excuses to shoot people. No, I think if we found a monster in the ocean, I think not only would it be cool, but it's like the safest place to find a monster, really. I mean, it's in the bottom of the fucking ocean. I mean, what's it gonna do? I mean, unless it's amphibious, it's not like it's gonna come and get us, right? And even if that is the case, even if there is something to worry about, we dump so much shit into the ocean anyway. It's not like anything's gonna live down there much longer. I mean, the Megalodon may have been the undisputed king of the ocean back in the Jurassic, but if there's one thing we have proved time and time again, it is that no animal anywhere has evolved any kind of defense against the plastic 6-ring beer holder. So seeing the previews for this movie, and they're gonna throw creatures from, they drill and there's monsters, and I was like, okay, sold. And I went and saw it. And that's pretty much the review. I don't know what else you want from me. There is virtually nothing to talk about with this movie. I'm sitting there watching it going, I have no idea what to talk about here. So I'm gonna do my best, because that's what I do. So let's see what we can find. So in this movie, Kristen Stewart plays Ellen Ripley, and I'm not making a joke about that. I mean, she basically plays Ellen Ripley. This movie wants to be the Alien franchise in the worst fucking way. And in a way, it is. I mean, I always found the first Alien to be an incredibly boring film. But just so much of the aesthetic is lifted right from Alien. The inside of the submarine base, the drill that they're walking to after some mysterious earthquake hits it and cripples the station, looks a hell of a lot like that city base from Aliens. The film wants to be Alien so bad. Even in, I'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, there's an earthquake, and the survivors have to walk across the bottom of the ocean to save the day, to escape, and of course there's something lurking, because there's always something lurking, and yeah. I wish I could tell you more. There's nothing more to tell. It's your basic, interesting idea, but no payoff horror movie. It has an interesting concept, but it falls into the trap that every fucking horror movie falls into. There's it's so cut and paste and generic, everything about it. Oh my god. The fucking black guy dies first. If you need another cliche to follow, well, there you go. And the minute that I was like, the black guy died first, so we're just not trying, are we? And I'm sorry for calling him the black guy. I don't know any of the characters' names. There was Sarah. I think Kristen Stewart's name was Nina or something like that. And T.J. Miller played Paul. T.J. Miller played, T.J. Miller. He was the guy who seemingly had no purpose. We don't know what his job on this billion-dollar underwater research facility was, but he's just there to make snarky comments throughout. And watching this and realizing how many of those types of characters I've seen in the last 10, 15 years, I started to wonder, is this what we do? Like, for real? Is this like something that we honestly do? So we're sending a spaceship up. We're sending up a mission to repair a space station or something. So we're going to send an engineer, a mathematician, a different kind of mathematician, a statistician, and one drunken frat boy we're paying $12 to go up and do nothing but make smarmy comments. Is that how this works? We want to cut costs. Why don't we not hire that guy? Seriously, he's got the range of a Daisy air rifle. I thought he was fun in Cloverfield before his shtick got old. Now he's just a poor man Ryan Reynolds, and honestly, I'm tired of Ryan Reynolds shit too. So our crew of nobodies, whom we take no time. In a way, I liked this at the very beginning because they start off with just the earthquake and the ship going to shit. So we don't waste a lot of time with cast introductions or this is this one, this is that one. The downside of that is when disaster strikes, you're left with a cast of characters you have no fucking clue who they are or why you should care. And frankly, you don't. I said that the movie aesthetically really wants to be Aliens, and that's true, but I think that this is a cross between a really tight Aliens ripoff and somebody who was going to make a live-action movie of a video game. I don't know if it's like Gears of War or Call of War or whatever, but whichever one it is where the dudes wear really souped-up armor, because half the movie they're clomping around in these massive scuba suits that look like something out of one of these Gears of War games. Seriously, Kristen Stewart even gets a suit upgrade for the climax that has like spikes on the shoulder and shit. I'm just like, so were they making this movie next door? They decided, you know what? Video game movie sucks, close it down. Well, we got all these props. What can we do with them? Here's what's funny. In the weirdest possible way, and again, going back to cliches and whatnot. So, Kristen Stewart and her fellow nobodies there, they spend half the movie clonking around in those scuba suits that look just awfully uncomfortable. I feel very sorry for the actors and give them a lot of credit for trudging through wearing these things, because they look like you can barely move. My shoulders hurt just watching them. And when they're not in them, Kristen Stewart is in her underwear. Like, any excuse to get Kristen Stewart in her bra and panties. Now, I will give them this. At least they didn't go as far as Alien did. At least she had her panties pulled all the way up and it weren't like yanked down so you could see the crack of her ass. At least that. But you're watching going, why is she running her? Why do you have her in her bra and panties? The guy is in a t-shirt. She made it to one of the other stations. They had clothes there. She could have put a shirt on. Come on. Yeah, I am reaching here. I am reaching so hard for something to talk about. The monsters. Let's talk about the monsters. So the only thing, I guess this movie did have a few good moments. It built suspense fairly well. Walking around in an unfamiliar, unforgiving terrain type thing. But I mean, it was all jump scares. Everything about it was jump scares. That's all there fucking was. Just like every fucking horror movie. That's all they are. You know, that. I want to say that the creatures' designs were okay, but you really didn't get a chance to see them. The only cool part of this movie, and I don't care, spoiler alert, don't give a shit. I've been told recently that I only spoil things when I don't like the movie, and yeah, because at that point I don't care. Anyway, is that so they spend the whole movie trudging through, and you know, all these monsters are coming after them, these kind of larger than person sized monsters are chasing after them, and it turns out they're just like the parasites or something on a big fucking Cthulhu Godzilla size fucker. Now when that happened, when he showed up, I was like, oh shit, okay, that's more like it. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So that was okay, that was fine. I also can't decide if this movie is trying to be a Cloverfield film. Especially with T.J. Miller in it. It feels like this movie, just the opening credits are all like this, like news exposition, just like news reports or paper things going, you know, drilling down there. There's an earthquake, blah blah blah, and they do the same thing at the end with, you know, survivors' statements are classified and all this crap and la-di-da-di-da-di-da. It felt very much like a Cloverfield movie. Like this is one of those movies like 10 Cloverfield Lane, my first review by the way, where you get the feeling like at any moment this thing could have been hijacked, cut down, and like re-edited to fit Cloverfield shit into it. Kristen Stewart, I give her a lot of respect. I don't know if I like her as an actor, but I respect her because she has been trying so hard to shake off the stigma of Twilight. And I give her credit for trying a lot of different things. I think she's decent in this, but I don't think she's given anything to really play. I don't know what else to say about this. I seriously don't. I am reaching for anything that I can talk about. Last night with Just Mercy, I had so much to talk about. Here it's just like I don't know. And I guess the problem is that this is a movie that you can't really hate because there's not enough ambition in it to hate it. You know, it's like, this is a film, I can tell you exactly right now what kind of film this is. This is a film that at the end of this year, when I'm making up my list so I can start compiling my best, worst, and meh list, those are coming soon, so be watching. I look at the list and there's always these titles of films. I'm like, what the fuck was that about? What happened in that? Or sometimes I have to like, what happened in that? What was my review of that one? And I have to go back and rewatch them because I don't remember the fucking movie. Because I left no impression. I really feel that's what this film's gonna be. Oh, and here's a thing. So, T.J. Miller's annoying character, for some reason, has a stuffed bunny that he keeps passing off to people. And they never say what the hell he's trying to rescue this bunny for. Now, I don't blame him. If that was my bunny, I'd want to rescue my bunny too. But I'd want to know why the bunny was so important to him. Don't you want to know why your bunny is important to you? Well, my bunny's important to me. That's all I know. Anyway, yeah, this film is doomed, I think, to film obscurity. Maybe if it's lucky, someday when they do the 5000th reboot of Mystery Science Theater 3000, maybe it'll be a film on there. But it's not even it's not even stupid enough to really get going on there. I got nothing else. Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap up this hoedown. So, final grade for Underwater. I couldn't even fucking remember the name. I'm going a D on this one. I'm going a D because there's nothing in this that makes it interesting or stand out or anything. It's a movie that's there. And in a few months it won't be, and nobody's gonna remember it. I'm sorry. Alrighty, so that was that. So as I said, next big thing, I've got a 3-day weekend. This is day 1, so I'm using this time, and we are going to be coming up with my top 10 lists for the end of 2019. So looking forward to revisiting some old favorites, as well as some films that need one last little stab in the gut, because I'm vindictive like that. So I hope you will join me for those. They're always a lot of fun for me, and it's always nice to kind of look back and wrap up the year. So until next time, drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.